After missing the first 35 games for the Brooklyn Nets, Kyrie Irving will finally make his season debut when the Nets travel to take on the Indiana Pacers on Wednesday, January the 5th. The former NBA champion and 7-time All-Star will finally be joining the Nets again this season after what felt like an eternity since Irving last played, and he is looking to take this team to that next level once again upon his return. Arguably one of the best trios to ever play alongside one another on a court are going to be back in action, and the team will once again be must-watch TV as they look for revenge from a disappointing playoff run last season that saw them get eliminated by the Milwaukee Bucks because KD's feet are too big. Already holding the second seed without one of the best point guards in the league is a recipe for the Nets to go back to being that powerhouse of a team that looks almost impossible to stop on paper. However, this will be a season unlike any other for Kyrie because of the fact that for the time being he will only be allowed to play in Brooklyn's away games due to a New York City mandate regarding unvaccinated players from the COVID-19 virus being prohibited from playing any game held in New York. Irving is allowed, however, to attend all of the team's practices, but what all of this means for the Brooklyn Nets is going to be a question many people want the answers to. This does mean that Kyrie will play in half the games this season for the Nets, and it promotes a tremendous amount of uncertainty since Kyrie will have boatloads of off days. Will Kyrie be carrying an incredibly large role during those away games to allow for stars like KD and Harden to have more rest to take the lead during the games Kyrie won't be able to participate in? Or will they simply just plug him into the regular scheduled game plan that they've had all season? Also, only a small percentage of people who watch my videos are actually subscribed, so if you end up liking this video, consider subscribing. It's free and you can always change your mind. Enjoy the video. The possibilities are endless for this team for what they choose to do, as many people also believe that since he hasn't played this season and won't be playing in a consistent amount of games, that this will throw Kyrie's rhythm off and prevent him from being that star we all know. To that, I just wanted to say that there's a reason Kyrie Irving is being allowed to do this unconventional way of basketball that we have never seen before, and obviously one of the reasons is because the situation is so unique, but it's also because Kyrie is that special of a talent that can do this and will also be able to still perform at such a high level, and the Brooklyn Nets, with all of the firepower they possess, will be allowed to handle the situation if it does become rocky at times because of the guys they have in their locker room. This situation is going to be very closely monitored by many fans and possibly even NBA teams and owners to see how it pans out, as it has so many interesting dynamics that go along with it. One of them being the idea of shortening the regular season for future years, as this has been talked about by the league to not only allow players more time to rest up and be at their 100%, and also make the games more meaningful to allow for more competition during regular season games. What is going to be absolutely insane to witness will be the Brooklyn Nets in the playoffs, due to the fact that Kyrie will only be able to play in half of every series the Nets are in, which also makes you think that the Nets might possibly have a better chance of winning with a higher seed, because when you win more games and earn a lower seed, you get home court advantage in any series where you have a better record than your opponent, so this would mean Kyrie would be able to play in less games. And on top of this, if the Nets were able to come away with the #1 overall seed in the entire NBA, that would mean no matter what, Kyrie would not be able to play in Game 7s throughout the entirety of the playoffs, which could be a huge blow for this team. But looking at the bright side of this situation, just think of how intimidating it would be if the Nets win their first 2 games of the series at home, then have the opportunity to add Kyrie and try to close out the series in your team's arena. And since the Nets do have KD and Harden and many other talented role players, this could very well be something that we witness this year in the playoffs. But putting all of the what ifs aside, I'll come back to this later in the season and analyze the situation once we have more of a grasp of how it's actually going to work or if anything changes, but I wanted to touch upon what Kyrie is going to bring to the table for this Brooklyn Nets team. It has been reported that despite not being able to play in any games thus far, Kyrie has still been training and was staying ready throughout the entire process in case he was given the opportunity to play. Kyrie will be at his 100%, which is incredibly scary for this team as he is coming off one of the best seasons of his career, if not the best. For the first time in his career, he was a part of the infamous 50-40-90 club, which means his shooting numbers were incredible as he shot above 50% from the field, over 40% from 3, and over 90 from the free throw line. And despite being surrounded by so much talent, he was able to put up his second best season in terms of points per game, and the only reason it was his second best was because the season before he averaged more, yet he only played in 20 games that season due to an injury. Doing what he was able to do last season, he will be joining 2 former MVPs on the Nets who were all able to average over 20 points per game and looked to be clear favorites to win the championship last season, but had to battle many injuries in the playoffs and unfortunately got knocked out by the Bucks, who went on to win the whole thing. This year could very well be different for the Nets, as they are once again heavily favored to win it all, even before Kyrie was set to join the team, and both KD and Harden have been having fantastic seasons that will only be elevated with another all-star on their team. Harden is almost averaging a triple-double this season, and Durant is leading the league in scoring while averaging over 50% from the field. These 3 players all playing together this season healthy will be absolutely terrifying for opposing teams to play against. Add the depth that this team managed to acquire last season and this offseason with a massive signing that I touched upon in my previous video in Patty Mills, we could be looking at one of the greatest teams the NBA has ever seen. With all of that being said, it is going to be very interesting to see how this Kyrie Irving situation plays out for the Brooklyn Nets, as I can already tell there will be many very confusing factors that will play into this. But if you guys did enjoy this video, be sure to leave a like on it to help it out with YouTube's algorithm, and subscribe if you want to see more NBA content that I will be posting multiple times per week. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you all have a great night.